Good morning everybody and welcome back to another Sharing Sunday with me, Helen Armstrong from pandrapops, Crafting Joyful Moments. I'm glad you stopped by. It is, the last Sunday in April. I say it every time, but the months are absolutely flying by. I don't know whether it's because I'm now officially an old fogey, as my children would say. I'm only 53, but they do call me old. So I don't know whether it's that or whether, life is just flying by. Wow. Today is another little bit of a departure. Last week we did some scrapbooking. Today I'm looking at making a decorative piece for the home. This is mainly for me because I love toadstools, mushrooms, anything floral, fauna, that type of thing. So I'm actually giving you a bit of a sneak peek to the new Fern Flora set, which is coming out in May the 5th. But I'm actually using, from this set, I'm using these dies. So I'm using that one, that one, that one, and that one. I have also picked out some of these, which you can make flowers with. I'm not sure I'm going to be using them, but we'll see. That was my idea, and I'm also using some of the dies from the Sweetbook set as well. So I have also used the mushrooms and the flower heads, that one as well. I'm going to see if I can incorporate those into my design. Your guess is as good as mine, as well as whether it'll come out well, whether it'll all come together nicely. We will see as we go on. But I just thought we'd try something a little bit different. So I've used a 5x6 photo frame. I got this on sale from Boots in the United Kingdom. Obviously you'll be able to get 5x7 photo frames anywhere. I'm not sure I'm going to be using the glass, but I will be using the back part and sticking this to it to then build up. So I have already pre-cut my 5x7 piece of card, which I'm going to start layering up on. I have used the embossing folder from Fern Flora, and I used the two-tone Peaceful Pine new in colour, which is also coming out in May, and I embossed and then sanded off a little bit. I do quite like the distressed look that you get in the background of this. I've also used a very old, well, I say very old, it's 2 years old, embossing folder to emboss some wood grain sort of texture on the bottom here, because my embossing folder doesn't quite reach the bottom. So that was my plan, was to build up on there, but I'm going to do some colouring on it as well, just to give it a bit more dimension. Colours I'm going to be using today will be the new Peaceful Pine, the new Golden Glow in our new ink pads. You know how much I love those. I'm also going to be using Mossy Meadow, Old Olive, Berry Burst, Pecan Pie and Crumb Cake. They're the colours I'm going to be using today. So let's get started. So I'm going to put my little card to one side. And the first thing I'm going to do is add a little bit more colour and texture to my background. So I'm just going to reach across and get a blending brush. And I'm going to go in with initially the Peaceful Pine. So I'm just doing a circular motion to pick up some of that ink. I want to make it slightly darker on the edges. Do I want to put some paper down maybe? Just to pretend. I don't need to because I'm on my glass mat. Just so I don't have to keep cleaning up. Okay, so I'm just going to come in on the edge, making that edge a little bit darker. Not sure how much you'll see of this, but I just wanted to give the framing a little bit different, make it a little bit different than normal, than having just the straight colour. Excuse me if I keep going out of shot. So yeah, I'm not complaining about the weather this week. It's been absolutely glorious here in the UK. Not fantastically warm, but enough to if you're in the sun, to be in a t-shirt. So yeah, massive. Okay, so I put a little bit of that dark peaceful pine on those edges. I'm now gonna, I was put my other ink pad in, that wasn't sensible. Let's close that up. I'm going to bring in some old olive. I'm just going to clean off my brush a little bit before I go in. And then I'm going to come across with the old olive, and where I have taken off some of that paper, I'm now going across with the old olive, and I will be adding a little bit mossy meadow as well. And that just again gives that little bit more depth to the areas. And I like how when you rub across, not only is the white getting covered, but you're also those embossed bits, it's making a difference. And if you can hear talking in the background, it is just my family going about their usual Sunday happenings. So yeah, you might hear some background noise, but as I say, just my family going about their normal business. So again, give that a little bit of scrub off the side before coming in with the mossy meadow. So I would always go in with lighter first, which is what I've done. I went in with the old olive first, which is lighter than our mossy meadow. And I'm just gonna pick up maybe one side of that, like that. Again, I'm just picking up on those raised bits. It makes such a difference when you emboss and then go over with a little bit of ink. It just really gives it that 3D effect. Love it. Okay. I'm not even sure whether I want to add a little bit of the golden glow just to see what happens. This could all go pear-shaped, obviously. And, you know, 9 times out of 10 with me, it normally does. So let's have a look. I'll just see if we can bring in, oh, nice. Actually, I'm enjoying that quite a lot. Okay, let's leave it there. Let's not go too overboard, but I really am enjoying that now. Love that background. Okay, so I'm going to just put that off to one side, and I'm going to bring in our darker browns, and we're going to do a similar thing with our brown at the bottom. So first, I'm going to actually go in with a darker colour this time, which is the pecan pie. I know my brush says pool party, but after cleaning my brushes, I didn't stick to the colours. So yeah. So this just gives us a little bit more warmth. And what I might do is I might rip those edges a little bit more. What you can do is wet your paper before you tear, and it will help it rip in the how you want it to. Okay, I don't think I'm actually going to add any crumb cake to that. I might use that crumb cake a little bit later. Okay, I am now happy with how my background is looking. Really, really happy with how my background is looking. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do some more blending, and we are going to have a look at our mushrooms that we have. So these were cut out in crumb cake. And I just want to add some texture. So not only have I cut out some mushrooms, I'm actually going to trim this one down because I want to make it a smaller mushroom. Cut that bottom bit off. And we have got we can add the lids to it if we wanted more dimension, which we might do. So let's do our mushrooms first, and I'm going to come in with the crumb cake. So I hope, I know normally it's card making, but I just thought I wanted to try something different. It was actually in Stamping Up, when you become a demonstrator, you have what's called an upline, and they're the ones that you sign up under, and my upline is Sam Hammond Donald, and she's wonderful. And in one of our weekly meetings this week, she shared a home decor project with some of the new papers that's coming out. Not this one. This was, yeah, but she inspired me. So I thought, right, what have we got to work with? What have I got? So I'm just making this a little bit darker using the crumb cake. I might actually keep one or two of these without their lids on. Do I then want to maybe add a little bit at the bottom here on this one? I think so. That's one of the ones I'm going to keep without my lid. Okay. So with these ones, I'm actually going to, we have a large one, and I'm also going to trim down this small one. So we got some small ones, but I mainly just want to do the bottom of this. Change it that slightly colour, and the same with this one. So all we're doing is shading to try and bring in some some extra shading and some dimension when it comes to our mushrooms. And we're going to add some pecan pie to some of the other ones that we have, again, which will give a different look. So yeah, it gives a slightly more warmer wood tone. Just going to go in a little bit darker just under here. So then when we put our lid on, you get that further dimension. Okay, and the same with this one. We are going to add some extra texture to some of the leaves as well, but we'll see how much time we have to see how much we do actually want to add to it. Okay, so now I'm going to bring in some of our lids. I'm going to do a couple of brown ones, and I think I might actually pick in some berry burst as well with one of these, one or two of these. I'm playing, just seeing what happens. So let's bring in our berry burst. I've just put my nail in it. So let's give that a wipe before we go any further. Let's find my tissues. Okay, but I now want to make that darker on the top. So I'm just holding it and adding a little bit more shading that one side. Okay. Quite happy with that. It looks nicer. Okay. And let's make sure that this is the right way around, and we'll do another berry burst with this one. More, I think. Okay, happy with those. Great. So I think my other ones, I'll go back to using maybe the pecan pie and the crumb cake. So let's go with pecan pie first. Can actually combine the two. Let's have a look. I messed that up a little bit. Apologies. Okay. There we go. I love doing this. It is messy, but I do absolutely love doing this. Just to give that extra bit of dimension. Okay. Have we got enough mushrooms? Let's just do this one. I think straight over with the pecan pie at the top. So I don't want to go too far below that line where the underneath of the mushroom starts. Okay. All right, so we have our mushrooms. I'm happy with those. We can build those up. Those we may need, but I'm just going to put them to one side. Okay, so we've done some blending. We've done the mushrooms. I'm now going to bring in some of the sprigs that I might use, and I'm just going to add a little bit more texture to some of these. So this is Berry Burst two-tone cardstock, so it's darker on one side than it is on the other. But I'm just going to go darker, a little bit darker on one edge. I'm going to pick up that one and do the same. Just on the tips of those leaves. Always just adding texture. The whole point with blending in texture is just to add more texture to your piece. Right, okay, so I have got some pecan pie, little fronds. I might just go over those with a little bit of pecan pie, just very lightly. So we had a wonderful day yesterday. We decided, since it was such a wonderful day, and we wanted to meet our daughter, but she was looking after her friend's dog yesterday. So we decided, oh, what could we do? Where's dog friendly, where we can have a meal, maybe a little bit of a sit down and a drink. So we decided to go to a gorgeous pub garden in Didsbury, and it's actually called the Didsbury Pub. It's somewhere we've been before because it's right next to a little mini park area, which was great to take the dog for a little bit of a wander and a walk. Yeah, so that was great. Loved it. Had a wonderful afternoon. And what cherry on the top of the cake was my daughter got engaged 5 weeks ago, and her ring has been with the jewellers getting resized, but also there was a slight issue with it, so that was all sorted yesterday, which was brilliant. So she went to pick up that, and that was great. So it was lovely to see at the end of the day that she got her ring, and yeah, it was just nice. It was a fantastic end to the day, and we had a wonderful time with Mabel as well. Mabel's the little dog. She's so cute. I like dogs, but I do find them a little bit tying. We have our lovely cat Twinkle. And Twinkle, very much because of her age, very much keeps this off to herself. I'm just busy adding a little bit more texture to the Golden Glow ones that I cut out. Again, of two-tone cardstock. So just adding a little bit of colour on the tips. You don't have to stick to the the colour of the card card, the card you've used, what I might actually do is have a look to see what happens when we add a little bit of olive to Golden Glow. Let's have a look. This video may be an actual long one, so please feel free to skip to the end when I start building things. I quite like it. Picking up a little bit of green tinge. So again, these are from the Flora and Fauna set, which is coming out in May, on May the 5th. This was something that I saw and immediately realised that it was definitely me. Definitely me. This particular set. Okay, do we need to add anything? I'm actually going to just press that in, see what kind of effect we get. Nice, a little bit of texture. Just so it's not all one colour. Lovely. Okay, right, add some more. We're going to use those as our focal points. I have got some soft sea foam which will really lighten, but I think they need to be knocked back a little bit. I think it's too light and it might be too jarring, so let's just knock it back with a little bit of old olive. Okay. Let's bring some of our other fronds in. So I've also I did cut some flower stems and some flowers. I may or may not use. So yeah, we've got lots of little bits that we can play with and also add colour if I think we need to. So let's start building. Let's not wait too much longer to start building. So let's move those out of the way and keep all over the bits. I mean, you can see I've got so many bits here that I've cut out. Did spend about an hour cutting out everything that I thought I might need. Right, so first of all, I'm going to layer this on top. I want it to be flat because I don't want this bit to be the bit that's sticking out. I want the my other bits and pieces to be the focal point. And what I'm actually going to do is then stick this to the back and maybe stick it into the frame so we know what we're working with. Do I want this to be layered up? Probably not. Probably not this bit. So let's just glue this to the back of the card that I've cut out. And then we can slot it into the frame. Oh, I just realised I stuck that too high up. Let's see if I can peel it off. Not the best start. Okay. Let's stick that down. Okay. And then let's add this bit to the bottom here. Okay, we should be able to cover up our little mistake. That's fine. Okay, so let's just slot it in and just see. So that's currently what it looks like. And that's what will be front and centre. But I want to be able to layer things on top. So I want to do lots of layering and then maybe come out of the frame a little bit as well, is my plan. So I'm actually going to put this in the frame. So if you can hear any noises outside, it is my wonderful family going about their Sunday. Okay, right, so we have our starting point. I like how it's sitting in there. I do like the effect that this has on the background. Okay, so what we're going to start with, we're going to start with a few background fronds. We have lots to choose from. And I'm just going to pick some coloured ones. I've got some shiny ones, which again, this is specialty paper, which is coming out. Yeah, you probably heard the garage door announcement. We do have an announcement which tells us if it's been open and left for that. So yeah, I think you probably heard it last week as well. Okay, just trying to layer first of all before we start sticking. I like how if we do something like that, how it comes out the frame. Got that coming off the frame. I'm going to have one of our mushrooms, I think, coming off the frame. Like that. I do like that. Okay. Let's have a look to see what flowers that we have. We can have that in the foreground as well. Okay, I'm just going to start sticking and seeing whether we like it or not. What I'll probably end up doing is doing far too much, which is what normally happens. Okay, I'm going to bring in my silicone mat and I'm going to add some glue onto my silicone mat because, let's just move that to there, because these are very delicate and what we don't want is, if I can get some glue onto my mat. Don't want to be putting lots of glue on the back of everything, so the idea is if I just tap that in, lift it off, there's glue on the back, and then we can just add it to just running it through, wiping off the excess, and then sticking it down. Okay, then let's bring our other shiny one in. So this is specialty paper. I can't remember for the life of me what it's called, but it's specialty paper in the new ink colours. So the new ink colours are Golden Glow, Peaceful Pine. What other ones have we got? Crisp Cantaloupe, Belly Blush, and Hydrangea Hue. Yeah, so they're the ones. I'm actually just going to stick this frond in. I absolutely love that one. Okay, so we are just gradually building. Now I'm going to bring in some of our ones that we coloured, and I'm going to have maybe that sat up there as well. Need some more glue. Okay, to bring in this gorgeous soft sea foam that we then added a little bit of our old olive to. And we're going to have that just sat there. I like it already. Okay, I think we will probably end up, if you hear that rubbing noise, it's me with my hands trying to get rid of some of the glue. What we might need is some more up here eventually, but let's build it and just see what happens. Like this pink one. I do like Berry Burst. see what else we have. I think what I might do is I might start layering my mushroom, but I'm going to have it over the top of this. Okay. So let's add some glue to this one. What you can do is, Stampin' Up and also other people sell adhesive sheets, which means that you can put the adhesive sheet on the back of your card, then cut out. Which means you don't need the for glue. Okay. I think I will try and do this again without as much glue, because that is going to annoy me because it will dry, and it will dry sort of shiny. So yeah, that will get a little bit annoying for me, unfortunately. Let's pick up one of our small ones, and I think let's add, did we do a large? Oh, I don't think we did do a large. We did. I was wondering whether we'd actually done a large berry burst, but we had. So let's just put a tiny bit of glue on here. And let's attach that to our mushroom, and then let's attach our mushroom to our frame. Okay, what are we thinking so far? Do we like it? Do we not like it? I'm hoping that you are, that you like it. You like what you see and what I'm doing. Yeah. Let's put this one, I think, here, just so it's again popping out, but let's put some greenery behind. I'm just going to tear a little bit of that off and add it there. Yeah, my hands are getting too sticky, so I've now decided to not go with a silicone mat. I've decided I don't like sticky hands. Because they're now sticking to everything but what they're supposed to. Okay. Let's go with one of our smaller mushrooms. So I hope you can see this okay. Today I'm actually heading off later on this afternoon for a craft class. I've decided to take part in another Stampin' Up demonstrators craft class this afternoon. Looking forward to that, to see what they do. Yeah, looking very much forward to that. Okay, do we need to bring in one of our flowers maybe? Probably. Let's have a look. Okay. A nice berry burst flower we can put on. there. If it decides that it wants to stick to the frame. Doesn't want to stick to the frame. Let me just hold it for a little bit. Okay, what I might do is actually, I think it might be too much if we add a dimensional. A bit more glue. Let's add another one of our flower stems, this time in Old Olive, just so it's there, I think. But before we do that, let's add one of the things that in the new set. There are these little bows which do make a flower. I've not made them yet, so I'm actually going to just keep that to one side.
Has been left open for over 5 minutes.
Sorry again for that interruption about my garage door. Okay, but I'm actually going to pick up one of these Golden Glow ones that we have, and let's add it to our flower. Add it to our flower. Add it to our stem. And then we can add a little bit of glue. And we can attach our stem. Okay. So currently this is what it's looking like. I think we do need to add our little small mushroom over here. Yeah, just to tie in, I think. I quite like that one with our little bit of pecan pie and the berry burst. And then let's add it to the front. Okay, so now we need to just build up this one in the middle. I think we could probably add a little bit more, but we're going to do it from the inside. I'm quite happy with the front. Now, I don't think I want to change too much about it. I might add a frond down here once we've built up everything in here. So let's use some of the things that we coloured in. I'm just going to tuck that in right there. And to bring in one of our blue ones, I think, or maybe not. Let's have a look. Let's see what other ones we have. We have that gorgeous berry burst one that we did, don't we? So let's maybe bring that one in. And we're going to have it tilting in a different angle to the green. Let's have it, oh, maybe that. Okay, I think that's okay. I'm actually going to quickly colour the back of this because I want this one tilting in a different direction. Okay. Add some colour to the tips of it. Okay. Because I want it going in that direction. But I think I'll have it up here. Oh, I don't know. Okay, let's add that one because I definitely want that one there. Okay. it is just a case of building to see whereabouts you put things, how you like things. It is just a case of layering and building, and yeah. I can obviously snip things off. So I think I'll do that with this blue one and bring it down the front. But again, you can have it going a slightly different way. I'm going to start maybe doing some bit more 3D with one or two things. So what we can do, let's just take the edge off this lovely frond that we have. Trying not to destroy it because they are quite fragile. Okay, and I am actually going to see if I can just use a tiny dimensional on the back. To give it, oh yeah, happy with that. Happy with that. Yeah, very happy with that actually. Okay. I'm going to bring in this at the front, just here, I think. Again, layering it up. Oh, that one's not sticking too brilliantly. Let's give that a little bit more time to stick. I always say to you, you know, you would take your time over this. I'm doing this for relatively quickness. I probably would take a little bit more, well, I would take a bit more care over where I'm possibly placing things, to just give that little bit more dimension, and also to bigger, you know, colour range that's going on. I'm going to have to put a dab of glue underneath there. Okay. So I'm just going to tilt it so I can actually see. I need to put some mushrooms in that foreground bit. I might use our ones that we left behind. Let me just quickly grab those. We can always add some colour if we want to. Okay, let's put that one in first though. I think having that one centred would be quite nice. Or just off to the side. Maybe, okay. And I am going to put some dimensionals on this one. To give it that lift. Okay. Turn it slightly, I think. You know what I'm actually going to do? I'm actually going to double dimensional it. So I'm going to put double the dimensions so I can then make it stand out even more. So this is something you can do, you don't necessarily have to, but just to make it stand out even more, that's what I'm planning to do. Yeah. Happy with that. And I didn't peel off the dimension back any at the bottom, did I? No, you didn't. Okay, there we go. Okay. So I'm going to bring in our smaller one just there and put there on one singular dimensional, I think would be the best thing. It doesn't need to be on two, this one. But I am going to add, I think, our berry burst to it. And then let's use the pecan pie on the main one. Okay, so now we just need some bits down here, don't we? So again, this comes to, we can just chop some bits and pieces up. We don't necessarily need all of it. So I'm just gonna trim down there. And we can actually have one going over the front here. And then I can build some more up here, I think is what we need to do. Okay, I am sorry that this video is going on for quite some time, but I think it's nice to show how these things come together. Right, what colour should we do at the front? I think, let me just have a look. I think we do need some greenery. So I think maybe we can do some greenery. Let's have that tucked in there and coming across like that. Okay, and then I think we need to add a little bit of, oh, maybe different colour. Let's pick up some, so I've just snipped off the bottom bit of that with my fingers. Okay. And we've got some bit down here that we need to, and maybe something here that we need to fill in. I think we might use another frond, one of these, maybe. Or do we use one of our sparkly ones? I think we might use one of our sparkly ones. Just have it like that with a dimensional. Okay. I they don't all need to be stuck down, which is good because, you know, it's something which is sort of floating a little bit. But we do need definitely something here. Okay, do we just put this down here? I think maybe. Yeah, might be an idea. Just there. Maybe do we bring in some pink? I think maybe if we cut that and have that just in the foreground. Okay. See, this is something you do have to be a little bit careful with once you've made it because it is quite fragile. I quite like our secret C that we have here. So I'm just going to snip off that bit. Add that to maybe there. But do we need something behind that? I think we do, just to lift it. So let's maybe